So I've actually had quite a few questions about this now. I think 2 people have asked me. Basically, they're asking how you get your record player connected up to your computer, so either you can just listen to it or properly sample it into Logic. Well, today I'm going to answer you guys' questions and hopefully you find it helpful and you understand it. What I've got in my case with the record player is obviously I've got the power here. This cable here is the ground cable, and what that does, it kind of stops electrical feedback by kind of securing it to my stereo, and the stereo obviously brings it into the output, puts it back into the mains plug. If you don't have the grounding cable in properly, you kind of get a bit of electrical feedback and a buzz, and it doesn't sound very good. But the only thing you really need to worry about here is obviously these 2 outputs here, the left and right, because stereo, and they're these phono cables. I'm pretty sure, they're pretty generic, you can pick them up wherever you want. They just plug straight into the back. I'll show you the cable I've got. Because my interface only has, well, in this one it's only got 2 mono inputs. Some of them you can use them like your stereo, but this one you can't. Basically, I've got the 2 phono inputs here from the record player, and you see here how it starts off with 2 and then comes down here into 1 cable. That's because you can get the headphone jack. It's got the headphone jack on the end, and I've got an adapter for it. You plug it in there, and then it turns into a 1/4" plug that you can plug in, like you plug in a guitar or anything. You see here, this is the cable coming from my record player. See, it's kind of a double thickness. That's because that's how it condensed it into 2, and it goes into the 1/4" input there. I just set the gain and then I'm good to go. My situation, I've got the record player, and you could have a mixer if you wanted, but I don't, because I couldn't really find an affordable one and there's not really enough space there, so I don't. But I think it works fine. Once you plug it into Logic and all that, you can obviously preamp it. I think it still sounds fine. Let me talk you through how the kind of electrics work and why you need interfaces and all that. You obviously start with the record player that's got the tone coming in through the arm, and then next you come on to the interface. What the interface has got in it is something called an analog to digital converter on one half of it, and because vinyl is analog and it's actually producing like vibrations, it just converts it into digital kind of information with all the 1s and 0s. When it's gone through the interface, it then comes in through the wire out the back that you plug in to the USB slot on your computer, and that goes through your DAW mixer, and that's where you can put effects on the signal, record it in, and pan it, fade it, whatever you want. It would then come out of the DAW back into the interface, but this time into like the second half, and that would take the digital inputs, all those 1s and 0s, and put it back into analog, so that it can then be sent to your speakers or headphones, and that would cause vibrations in the air again so you can hear it. Another way you could do it is also what I've kind of got 2 ways of doing it. I just also sometimes put it straight through my stereo, and then obviously the stereo, which is linked to the speakers, go in there. Obviously if you can't really sample into Logic from using the stereo, so that's just if I wanted to listen to records. Also, another thing is that I started using an MPC, and obviously a big part of that is sampling from records into here. As you can see, it's kind of got the 2 1/4" inputs here, and what that needs is obviously the 1/4" plugs. But what I got here is the phono outputs from the record player, and that comes through this massive cable here, but on the other end obviously it's also the phono input. So what I do is I get these adapter things, plug them on, and then just plug each one in, no problem. Really easy if you wanted to sample into an MPC. I'm going to do a tutorial on that probably next week, so stay tuned for that. Sure, in some of my old videos you've seen me set up the connections, press record. Once you've got the signal coming in from the record player, all you need to do is press record and start your record. It'll spin and bring the sound in. What you do need to do is just make sure, say I've got this coming in input 2 here, you need to match that. Here I've got it coming in input 2 on the interface. I need to make sure that my DAW is matched to input 2, otherwise nothing's going to come out, so just be careful of that. So I hope you found that helpful. If you've got any more questions about this, then feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. I think we're at 96 subscribers, 4 more till 100. I've got some sample packs loaded up, so I'll just drop them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Wait till me to speak.